it's really a joy to see such a high interest in the Driving Urban Transitions partnership and the kind of our discussions, taking part in our discussions on what we're going to do or propose to do the next 7 years. I guess this is an introduction to what we call the 3 pillars. It's a quick and kind of very general introduction. I guess you all need to read the proposal per se in order to get more insights. But I could ask Caroline to start the presentation. And for me, I'm just Jonas Bylund in the JPR Urban Europe Management Board. I'm well, the title is Research and Innovation Officer, which means that I'm working a bit more with content issues and connecting with networks. That's the end of the presentation. Yes, thank you. So what we call and what you heard Margit introduce quickly before lunch, we have built much of the Driving Urban Transitions partnership around what we call the 3 pillars, which is actually perhaps transition pathways, if you will. Now, before we started out, or actually we started out with having the strategic research and innovation agenda, having 4 dilemma areas, and you see the horizontal blocks here, which kind of outlines the areas that we use to dilemma thinking, in a way, a dilemma kind of oriented approach to probe and explore complexity in the themes and in urban challenges in general. So, and it's a way to get at and highlighting wicked issues, if you will, potential wicked issues, but also ways of trying to find synergies between the kind of the diversity of and complexity of issues that are involved. Right. So what we identified were then 3 sectoral concerns, or more sectoral concerns for research and innovation, and that was around urban energy transitions being crucial, urban mobility and connectivity, and urban circular economy and sustainable land use. Now, that kind of shapes up what we call the 3 pillars. And together they are a kind of key urban dynamics, if you will, or as Patrick Childs just called it, they make up a nexus of urban challenges, right? So we have, you can see how they are on the one hand kind of also interconnected. If you follow the dilemma approach a bit, neighborhoods cannot produce more energy than they consume without new mobility approaches, and increased circular resource use. So, on the other hand, new types of mobility and transport requires innovative energy technologies and emerging urban design. Now, urban areas, if they are to increase circularity in different ways, sustainable energy and mobility is required. So it's kind of easy to see that they are distinct sectoral concerns, but at the same time also outlining kind of a nexus in its own right for urban sustainable transformations. Next, please. Now, the pillars, in their kind of distinct ways, have some, let's say, specifics as well. Important maybe, and what Margit Knoll also mentioned in the general introduction to the partnership, is that the positive energy districts had kind of a momentum in its own right when we started to work with this partnership proposal. It has a momentum in the set plan, and we use it as a kind of a pilot, as a probe to see how to set up these transition pathways as sub-programs, if you will, or part programs in the partnership. Now, this is also the thing. We may call them pillars for short, but you could also think of them as thematic innovation ecosystems for that matter. So, core principle in all of them together, if we have the positive energy districts, we have the downsizing donut districts, we have 15-minute cities as the three pillars, is that they are all challenge driven, in the sense that we have used challenge driven approaches to develop them, and we continue to use that. That means consultations, we use dialogues with stakeholders, we use focus groups with public administrations and city officials, civil servants, etc. And also research and innovation community. Now, there should be in the chat link posted to a concept board, a kind of a digital post-it environment, where you can kind of keep giving us input on these aspects if you wish. And I would urge you to do it and have a check a bit more on the kind of evolving thematics for them. Now, next slide, please. Yes, since, well, next again. In these different dialogues and consultations, we have seen some common issues emerging between the pillars, of course. And you see some of them detailed on the slide. A bit even more generalized, one can say that the regenerative city principles are resonant in all of them. That means somehow to give back to the planet a bit more than you're taking as an urban environment or as a city territory, which now, of course, is the big challenge that it is the other way around. Now, all also highlight livability and quality of life as kind of key priorities in these otherwise a bit more technical issues that are really crucial challenges. So this also allows them to see we see a commonality in that they all take a neighborhood perspective, a kind of a community-oriented perspective, but also that urban governance, urban planning capacities, kind of experimental capacities, if you wish, and also kind of public engagement capacities and civil society capacities as crucial. There is, of course, more on the slide. Next one, please. So some of the specifics that we can detail on this level now is that, for instance, well, key issues in the positive energy districts. What sets it apart is perhaps tricky issues around energy flexibility and security, and that this area has to be, well, sensitive to the needs of various socioeconomic groups. For the 15-minute cities, we see, for example, what perhaps sets it apart is the multimodal aspects and emerging urban spatialities. Well, different flows will beget different places, to simplify it a bit. And that will probably have a huge impact on kind of the sense of urbanity. This downsizing donut districts would perhaps be more on where circularity should take place. I mean, what does it mean to see it from a place point of view, so to speak, highlighting also public spaces. Now, next, please. Again, put the link there to the concept board, where we invite you to keep on giving us insights, reflexive comments, and ways forward, if you wish, to the 3 pillars, as you can see. So don't hesitate. Just go over there. Well, perhaps not right now, because there are some more stuff on the policy agenda, the conference's agenda, but maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. And as you see, we have also kind of made space for trying to figure out the interconnections, the interfaces between these pillars by the yellow kind of double arrows, which is and will be kind of a hot topic in the time to come, and how to figure that out, or how to work with that. Now, next slide, please. On the final slide. After this, we'll have the breakout sessions. And if you go back to the lobby, you can choose between breakout session 1 on the 100 positive energy districts and neighborhoods, breakout session 2 on the 15-minute city, and breakout session 3 on downsizing district donuts. And in these sessions, we will detail, discuss, think about, reflect upon these different pillars, having a bit more time for each of them. And that's all for me. I wish you a very interesting, stimulating afternoon with us. Bye.